We all have a law to obey. From now, verse 12 of chapter 2 in Romans to the end of the chapter, Paul is going to be talking about the law. Now, what exactly does he mean by the law? Well, it's the Mosaic Law. Of course, that's during the Old Testament times. We're going to be taking our time to study and learn what the apostle has to teach us, starting with verse 12. For all who have sinned without the law will also perish without the law, and all who have sinned under the law will be judged by the law. The law that Paul is talking about is the law that God gave to Moses to give to the people of Israel. Now, perhaps you're thinking, well, I thought that we didn't live by the Mosaic Law. Instead, that we live by the moral law, because Christ fulfilled the Mosaic Law. Well, yeah, you're right. For Christ is the end of the law for righteousness to everyone who believes. Do not think that I have come to abolish the law or the prophets. I have not come to abolish them, but to fulfill them. Paul, what does he mean exactly in verse 12? Well, first we need to understand that Paul, who he's talking about those in sin, unrepentant sin. Let's look again at the first part of verse 12. For all who have sinned without the law will also perish without the law. Paul, he's saying that all people who are sinning, now understand they do not have the Mosaic Law, but they will die in their sins. Well, now wait a minute. What about the Jewish people? They have the law. Let's look at the second part of the verse. And all who have sinned under the law will be judged by the law. Okay, so Paul is also teaching us that those who have the law but are sinning, unrepentant continuous sin, they'll be judged too. Well, yeah, the Jewish people, they had the law, but they didn't follow the law. God will judge them. And the Gentiles of a long time ago, during Old Testament times, they did not have the Mosaic Law, but they did have the moral law, and it was written on their hearts, and God will judge them according to the law in their hearts. It's the same for us today. They, the Gentiles, show that the work of the law is written on their hearts, while their conscience also bears witness, and their conflicting thoughts accuse or even excuse them. Matthew Henry, he's a pastor from a long time ago, about the year 1700, and he said that the law the Gentiles have, that by this they shall be judged. Now, we know that the law, no matter the moral law, is still on our hearts. And it is from God, put in our hearts by God. We must follow that law. We're without excuse. God will judge us still. People who doubt God, that there's a God, some say, oh, well, maybe there's a God, but there's no proof. Well, they're without excuse. They don't have excuse. They know God is there. They know because they feel the conviction, the weight of it. How do they know? Because the law is in their heart. God designed them. He made them that way and put it there. They suppress this truth, and God will judge them. All of them, all of us. For the wrath of God is revealed from heaven against all ungodliness and unrighteousness of men, who by their unrighteousness suppress the truth. Coram Deo.